This smells too good, okay? Too good. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, I do talk all things beauty, so perfumes, I do some luxury hauls and reviews, and I also do some lifestyle content, so if that is something that you're interested in, don't forget to subscribe. In today's video, I am so excited about this because I want to introduce you guys to a new fragrance house. If you've been subscribed to my channel, you know that I love and absolutely love fragrances. As you can see, I do have a collection of my own. I want to be able to experience some new perfumes, you know, outside of the things that I already own. And so I'm so excited to introduce you to this new house. This new fragrance house that I want to introduce you guys to is called Artem. And I was able to sit down with the founders and kind of go over their fragrances and even try them. And guys, I cannot wait to talk to you guys about them. They do have 7 fragrances in their line, and every single fragrance is beautifully crafted, and it also comes with a captivating story that kind of just takes you along the journey of the scent. And oh my gosh, just the stories going along with the fragrances really captured my attention, and I hope it captures yours because these fragrances smell amazing. So I want to go ahead and give you guys a rundown of their 7 fragrances, the story behind these fragrances, the notes of them, and all of the things. So if you're excited to learn more about Artem and get into this new house, stay tuned for more. So I only have the samples with me. I don't have the full bottles on hand, so I'll go ahead and put the pictures up here. And with each fragrance, I will go ahead and give a little backstory of the fragrance, and I'll go ahead and give you the notes. And the first one we have for today is Flos Novis. Flos Novis translates to new blossom, and it's a citrusy, woodsy fragrance with a white floral accord. The prominent floral note in Flos Novis is daffodils, and daffodils symbolize resilience, creativity, and new beginnings. Flos Novis was created as a tribute to Black Americans and their contribution to propel mankind forward. So hip-hop is our Flos Novis, soul food is our Flos Novis, jazz and blues are our Flos Novis. So all of these contributions blossomed in less than ideal circumstances. So now that we have the story behind Flos Novis, let's go ahead and get into my favorite part, which is the fragrance notes. So for the top notes, we have daffodil, bergamot, and mandarin orange. For the middle notes, we have daffodil, white floral accord, and green tea accord. And for the base notes, we have daffodil, sandalwood, and vanilla. I'm gonna go ahead and spray my sample of this again. But again, I did try this and I had my first impressions already. So I'm just gonna go ahead and go over this with you guys. And this is so super fresh. Like, if you're into fresh and clean scents, this definitely would be right up your alley. I do get a lot of that daffodil, so just think spring, cozy vibes. And I would also say that this is like kind of like a clean linen scent to me. I definitely do love fresh and clean scents for the spring, and this definitely does give that. Another note that is very prominent on this, especially when you spray it on your skin, is that green tea, which I kind of love. I love green tea in my scents, but this is just a beautiful, fresh, and clean scent. So if you're into citrusy, woodsy, white floral scents, this would be your kind of fragrance. It's very fresh and clean and vibrant. I wouldn't say that it's too heavy on the citrus note either. You do definitely get a lot of that daffodil, you get a lot of that white floral, the green tea. So if you're into white florals, if you're into just something that's fresh, cottony fresh almost, I would say that Flos Novis would be for you. But this is overall such a beautiful scent. I mean, I can't wait to get into the rest of them with you guys because they did an outstanding job with these fragrances, I have to say. Like, this one is very fresh and airy. So if you like light, fresh, and airy scents, Flos Novis would be for you. For our second fragrance from the house of Artem, we have Subliminal Melody. So here's the backstory behind Subliminal Melody. On a summer evening in late August 1971, a young composer by the name of Donny Hathaway walked back out onto the stage without his band. He began his encore performance by playing Leon Russell's A Song for You. Hathaway's live performance of this love ballad inspired Subliminal Melody's creative process. Because love is such a strong and complex emotion, they chose notes that are typically overpowering on their own, but are beautifully smoothed out in the blending process. So let's go ahead and get into the notes of this fragrance. And for the top notes, we have citrus accord. For the middle notes, we have rose accord and oud accord. And then for the base notes, we have, again, oud accord, sandalwood, and rose. I'm gonna go ahead and spray a little bit of my sample. And this was actually one of my favorites. I have 3 favorites out of the 7 so far. And this, when it says that this is such a complex and beautiful and like lovely love song almost, that's exactly what this is. This is such a beautiful blend. You do get a lot of that rose, in the oud. I won't say that the oud is very overpowering because I know a lot of people like to just run away from oud, but this is a very safe oud. But this is super, super sexy. I am just in love with this fragrance. For me, I love a good perfume with oud and rose. I do have 2 perfumes in my collection that have oud and rose in it, and this is just so sexy. I can see Subliminal Melody being great for date night. I can also see it being great for like special events, but this is super, super sexy. For me, the dry down is amazing too, because again, I did test these on my skin and you do get a lot of that sandalwood too. So I would say that this is a very rosy, oudy, earthy scent. It is described as a woody floral, which is definitely that. It's very woody, very floral. So again, I know that oud, some people like to run away from it because they're not used to it, but this is not strong on the oud at all. It's honestly such a perfect mix of that oud and rose. But if you love rose and oud in your fragrances, you would definitely love this. This is one of my favorites and it is just so breathtaking. They really did such a great job with this. So again, this is Subliminal Melody. So for the third fragrance from the House of Artem, we have Southern Ballad. Southern Ballad is a fragrance that captures the spirit of the bygone era, where the warm, balmy southern air carried the sense of blooming gardens and the promise of sweet tea. It's a celebration of rich culture, flavors, and memories of the 1990s in Atlanta, where road trips and your family led to an unwarranted discourse of 60s music and catching fireflies on a summer evening. Wearing this fragrance is like taking a sensory journey back to a simpler, sweeter time. So for the top notes of this fragrance, we have honeysuckle, bergamot, and sweet tea accord. For the middle notes, we have creamy gardenia, blackberries, and Asian pear. And for the bottom notes, we have sandalwood, vanilla, and amber. So let me go ahead and spray some of my sample. This is definitely a breath of fresh air. Like the story tells about simpler, sweeter times, you know, being in your car, listening to 60s and 70s music, catching fireflies. And this, when I first smelled it with the founders, did remind me of being in the countryside, you know, laying out on the grass, having a picnic with your family. This just feels like home in a bottle, to be honest. Just reminds me of being in the fresh open air, just linen. Maybe you have your laundry hanging up. Do get a lot of that honeysuckle, that gardenia, and then at the bottom you do have that sandalwood, vanilla, and amber, so it kind of warms it up a bit. But this is such a fresh fragrance. I could definitely see this being worn in the springtime. It's very signature scent worthy. I can see this being worn on occasion too. This is such a fresh scent. So again, if you like fresh and clean scents, you know, that linen, like fresh laundry scent, this definitely would be for you. But this is so crisp and fresh. Like the first sniff of this is like a breath of fresh air. It's just so fresh and clean. Like I can't really describe it any more than that. It definitely brings you back to sweeter times, simpler times, and just hanging out with family, you know? So this is such a great fragrance. So if you're into florals, if you're into fresh and clean scents, Southern Ballad would definitely be for you. So for the fourth fragrance in the House of Artem, we have Notes in A minor. This fragrance is heavily inspired by the notable song lyrics, "Your daddy's rich and your mama is good looking," in Ella Fitzgerald's pensive rendition of George Gershwin's Summertime, which is written in the key of A minor. Let's go ahead and get into the notes of this fragrance. For the top notes, we have bergamot, lemon, rosemary, tangerine, pineapple, blueberry, and honeysuckle. For the middle notes, we have lily of the valley, violet, osmanthus, rose de mai, freesia, jasmine, and orchid. For the base notes, we have Virginia cedar, cinnamon, amber, oak moss, vetiver, styrax, and vanilla. So I do want to mention that in the middle note, they do use rose de mai, which is a flower that only blooms for 3 weeks in a year and requires 170 roses to produce one single drop. When they told me this, I was definitely impressed because to be able to get your hands on such a precious rose is amazing. So let's go ahead and spray a little bit of this. This smells too good, okay? Too good. This definitely for me leans masculine. I do love how this is talking about a love song, like, you know, and for me, this definitely is such a sexy love story in a bottle. Like this is amazing. When I first smelled this, I was blown away and I could definitely see my husband wearing this. I wouldn't say that a woman couldn't wear this because I find this to be intriguing too. So you definitely do get a lot of that bergamot and that lemon in the top note. I wouldn't say that it's overly citrusy because again, I am not a big fan of overly citrusy scents. So I would say that this is very well balanced. And it's also very woody. At the base, you know, you get that oak moss, that vetiver, that amber, and that vanilla, so it definitely warms it up as it dries down on your skin. But this is super sexy. It is definitely good for a date night, again, I would say. And just a night out on the town, you know, going to dinner, seeing your significant other, because again, we're talking about a love story here, right? And this is just so stunning. I love this fragrance. It definitely does get a little bit fresher as it dries down. So you do get a lot of the lily of the valley, the jasmine, the orchids. So I feel like those floral notes definitely come to life after the bergamot and lemon settles down a bit. This is so sexy. So if you're looking for a new fragrance for your man, I would definitely say go ahead and sample this. Or even if you're just looking for a fragrance for yourself and you find that these notes are very intriguing for you, I would definitely go ahead and try this. But this is such a sexy, woodsy, citrusy scent. I definitely do like this, and I can see myself getting this for my husband for sure. For the next fragrance in the house of Artem, we have Hues of Her. Hues of Her is a fragrance that defies expectations and embraces the multifaceted nature of life. It's a bold statement, a reminder that women are more than the boxes society tries to place them in. This scent is an embodiment of strength, resilience, femininity, and authenticity. So for the top notes of this fragrance, we have citrus zest accord and tuberose. For the middle notes, we have tuberose, jasmine, and iris. And then for the base notes, we have tuberose, warm amber, and sensual musk. So I'm gonna go ahead and spray some of my sample here. This is noted as a floral and ambery scent, and to me, it is very, very warm. I know it does have a lot of that tuberose in it, so you definitely get a lot of that. It is very fresh, but I feel like the amber in this and the musk in this grounds this a lot, so it's not like overpowering when it comes to like a white floral scent. But this is definitely seductive, you know, when it talks about femininity, when it talks about resiliency, I do get that in this fragrance. So I would say if you love, you know, tuberose, iris, jasmine, if you're very into white florals, you would definitely love this scent. I do like that they added that amber into it because for me, it does give it like a nice warmth to it, and it grounds this fragrance in a very unique way than other fragrances that I've tried before. But again, I can see this being worn casually, you know, going out to run errands. This is definitely like a good signature scent for every day. And again, it definitely is such a warm fragrance, so this is good for spring. I would say this is actually good for all year round too, but this is such a fresh and warm floral scent. Again, if you're into white florals and a hint of amber, Hues of Her would definitely be your fragrance. So for the next fragrance in the house of Artem, we have Vetiti Spiritus. So for the backstory on this fragrance, in 1920, America passed the 18th Amendment banning alcohol, also known as spirits, to heal what they saw as an ill society plagued by alcohol-related problems. Shortly after the ban, at least 60 communities across the nation also enacted laws prohibiting jazz in public dance halls. This scent captures the essence of the Prohibition era, where jazz music and hidden speakeasies defined an underground culture of indulgence. Wearing this fragrance is like stepping into a smoky, dimly lit jazz club where the air is thick with anticipation and the promise of a night filled with forbidden spirits. So for the top notes in this fragrance, we have bourbon, whiskey, cognac, and vanilla. For the middle notes, we have vanilla, tonka bean, and smoky tobacco. And for the base notes, we have mahogany, Virginia cedar, smoky tobacco, and vanilla. Go ahead and spray this. Okay, this was one of the first ones I smelled when I received the samples, and I am head over heels in love with this because you get that bourbon, that smoky vanilla, and it is just super, super seductive. So in the story, we're talking about jazz and how they were banned to play in public. You're walking to the jazz club and it's dimly lit, it's smoky, and they're playing music, and this definitely reminds me of that. Like, you do get a lot of that smoky tobacco, that vanilla, and it's not super smoky. I would say this almost, in my opinion, smells very chocolatey. I can't explain it. Like, it smells very chocolatey and it has a lot of that vanilla. This absolutely is a good fragrance for fall. If you're into that bourbon, that smoky tobacco, that cognac, that whiskey, that vanilla, this would be your scent. And not only is this just good for fall, I could definitely see this being worn in the winter time, possibly in the summertime too. It could be worn on occasion. It can be your everyday fragrance. And for me, this definitely is so good. Now, if you watch my other video, you know that I wear By the Fireplace as my bedtime scent, and I can see this being that too. Like, this is just so good. I would say that this is even definitely a unisex fragrance, so I can definitely see my husband wearing this as well. But this is so sweet, not overly sweet, and it really does have that nice balance with, again, that smoky tobacco and that cognac. This is so well blended. It is definitely one of my favorites out of this collection, and I need this immediately in my life, okay? Because this is just such a stunning fragrance. Like, I know there's other fragrances out there that have that cognac, that have that vanilla and that mixture, but for me personally, I've never smelled anything like this. So if these notes are something that you usually are drawn towards, you would definitely love this fragrance. But it is so good. I'm really impressed by this one. So for the last fragrance of this house, we have Séjour Enchanté. So Séjour Enchanté is a fragrance inspired by the essence of Josephine Baker's iconic song, J'adore Amour. It captures the essence of this love song, which speaks of two cherished loves, which is Paris and her homeland, and the emotions they evoke. It's a scent that embodies the magnetic charm, sensuality, and dual loves of a woman who transcended borders and left a mark on both French and American culture. So let's go ahead and get into the notes of this fragrance. For the top notes, we have bergamot, mimosa blossoms, and raspberry. For the middle notes, we have rose accord, frankincense, myrrh, and cardamom. And for the base notes, we have amber, cedar, and vanilla. Let's go ahead and try this. And this is love at first sniff. For me, I do get a lot of that raspberry. It's very fruity. This is a floral ambery scent, but it's also a very fruity floral scent. And this is just so stunning. So I do get a lot of that raspberry, that rose accord. And when I try this on my skin, I do get a lot of that amber and vanilla, but this is stunning. It is super sensual, very seductive, and I am absolutely in love with this scent. You can definitely see this being worn on date night, on special occasions, and I can personally see this being my signature scent for sure. I absolutely love a good fruity floral scent, and they just knocked it out of the park with this scent. It is such a beautiful fragrance. If you're into fruity floral scents, I would say that Séjour Enchanté would definitely be one of your favorite fragrances. This is so beautiful. It is seductive. It is alluring. This is such a unique fragrance. I feel like if I'm wearing this and someone compliments me on it, it's a fragrance that stands out from the rest. I know a lot of fragrances these days smell very similar to other things, but this is one that is very unique and it is very complex. Like, if I'm wearing this, you wouldn't be able to pick up on what I'm wearing unless you know what this fragrance is. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't smell like anything else to me, but it is very fruity, very floral. I just love this scent. It is just so beautiful. I can see this being worn for spring and both summer. I mean, quite frankly, this could be an all year round scent, but this is absolutely to die for. It smells so beautiful. Now, if you want to go ahead and try these fragrances, they do offer a discovery set. And with that discovery set, you can try all 7 samples. And if you like it, you can actually go ahead and apply some money to a full-size bottle. And I love when brands allow you to do that. So that is it for today's video. I hope you guys are so excited about Artem as much as I am, because I am so impressed by these fragrances. And I can't wait to add a few of them to my collection. And I just want to say thank you to the founders, because I am just so grateful that I was able to try these fragrances for the first time, get that full experience, and it is just such a good new house that you guys definitely need to check out. So go ahead and let me know in the comments what fragrances stood out to you guys the most, which ones you guys will be trying. And don't forget to go ahead and subscribe to this video, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys in the next one.